Hey, good day, folks. Welcome to Andrew's Life. It's safe to say that today's video is going to reflect another sad day, or another sad time, rather, in American history. And that is the fact that the migrant situation continues to get worse. What do I mean by get worse? Now, for starters, I'm not going to even concern myself with all the speculation of these Haitian migrants making crime worse, or rather not, they're doing bad things to people's pets or not. I mean, I'm not even going to get into all that. And at this point, I don't think none of you should worry about that so much either. I think we need to go back to the essence of why the migrant situation is happening in the first place. And as American people, how are we going to deal with it? I think we need to go back to those type of questions and concerns. Because at this point, I think the only reason why that the whole thing about the Haitians doing bad things to people's animals and the Haitians apparently committing all these different crimes, which I'm kind of skeptical about. But I think the only reason why all this is being brought up is because they want us American people, for one, they want us to stay divided. That divide and conquer tactic, that's what's going on right now, I believe. So, for one, they want the American people to stay divided. And for two, they also want us, the American people, to not be focused on what's really important here when it comes to the American economy, when it comes to the migrant, I'll just call it the migrant situation. And so, yeah, I think that we need to, as American people, we need to get back on track with what's really important here. And notice how all of a sudden there's all type of articles and videos on social media popping up all over the place about Diddy. Now, I'm pretty sure most of you know who Diddy is. I mean, if you've been living on planet Earth for the last, I don't know, 20 some odd years at least, you know who Diddy is. So, I believe, honestly, the reason why all these stories about Diddy have been popping up, along with all this speculation about Haitians doing bad things to people's pets, is because they want the American people to not stay on track of what's important. I mean, and notice how all this stuff is coming up practically just right around the corner from election. How ironic. I know. I think it's pretty ironic anyway. So I think as American people, what we need to do is we need to not pay any attention to Diddy. Now, okay, what Diddy did was terrible, and if all that is true, to he does deserve his punishments. But to be quite frank, we got other things to be concerned about at this point. And when it comes to all this speculation with what the Haitians are doing to people's pets or what they're doing to the goose and ducks in the pond, I mean, I'm a, I have a pet cat, and I consider myself to be somewhat of a animal lover. So obviously, I don't support people doing bad things to animals, but at the same time, there is no hard piece of evidence indicating rather or rather not the Haitians are doing anything bad to animals. And at this point, we need to just go ahead and just throw all that madness to the side and focus on what's really important here. And what's really important is A, why are all these migrants in this country in the first place? Why are our borders not being properly guarded in the first place? Now, me personally, I believe it goes beyond just Republican and Democrat. Now a lot of you are aware of what's been going on in Chicago, Alabama with the migrant situation. And when I woke up this morning, I read a few articles and I watched a couple of news clips about the migrant situation in Enterprise, Alabama as well. Now I'm pretty sure as time goes forward, you'll probably hear more stories about what's going on in Enterprise, and you'll probably hear more rumors about these Haitians doing bad things to people or to animals, kind of like what you heard in Springfield. And if that does come out, my stances are going to be the same in Enterprise as they are in Springfield. Where's the proof? But honestly, I think as American people, we need to focus on the much larger picture, which is why is all this migrant and illegal immigration stuff going on in the first place? Well, my answer, and this is my answer, this is not anything I looked up or researched, this is just my personal opinion. But my answer to why I think all this is going on is because you got a lot of these companies that do not want to pay the proper wages to hire American workers. You see, I get so sick and tired of of other people coming up on YouTube talking about how American workers are lazy, how American workers are not reliable, how American workers are on drugs, how American workers can't pass a criminal background, and how American workers are unreliable. I get so sick and tired of hearing that it just makes me cringe. Do we got lazy American workers that ain't worth a shit? Of course we do. But you have that in every culture. But I would say for the most part, most of us, we're not lazy. We are reliable. We do work our asses off. We do give these companies an honest day's work. And no, we're not just sitting around on drugs collecting disability. And the YouTuber, Southern Life, that that swears up and down here in Alabama, all people do in Alabama is sit around and collect disability and don't want to work or lazy. Yeah, here in Alabama there are people that are like that. But even here in Alabama, I would say for the most part, people are not like that. Now, maybe in certain parts of Alabama, like the part of Alabama where he may have resided, and some of the places in Alabama where he used to work and run his business as a junk removal person. Maybe in those areas, people may have been like that. But you can't put a blanket statement on the entire state of Alabama. Now, does Alabama got issues? Yeah, Alabama has its issues, and I've explained some of those issues on this channel in previous videos. So I'm not sitting here claiming that Alabama is a perfect state. It's not perfect. No state you go to is perfect. Florida's not perfect. All them states, like California, is not perfect. No state in the union is perfect. So when it comes to Alabama, uh, I would say most people in Alabama do work hard. And no, you don't have everybody you don't have a bunch of people in Alabama that are just sitting around and collecting welfare and food stamps and living off of disability. Like ride work, I would say probably 95% of the workers are native Alabamians and they all work hard. Ain't nobody collecting no food stamps. Ain't nobody living on disability. People get up every day and they go to work and they put their honest work in. In fact, a lot of people that I work with have two jobs and they got a side hustle. So, so for those of you that are not familiar with Alabama, don't believe those lies. As far as the whole narrative of American workers in general being lazy and unreliable and on drugs and all that other craziness that they were talking, because even in Springfield, Ohio, you had companies that were saying that about many of the American workers, which I find that hard to believe. In fact, I refuse to believe it because it's not true. I think the truth of the matter is a lot of these companies do not want to pay American wages. They do not want to pay American wages. So, in order to keep the wages low, in order to keep the competition for those jobs as high as possible, these companies are throwing a crap load of money at your local and state politicians. And they're going to also continue to throw a crap load of money at politicians even on the federal level. To have the borders open, to have a whole bunch of migrants and illegal immigrants come into this country and work these jobs. Now, and like I said on the video that I made a few days ago, this whole illegal, you know, all this illegal immigration stuff that's going on, all this migrant stuff that's going on, I mean, all this influx of migrants and immigrants that's going on is not good for the everyday American people. Now, I don't care. Now, and my philosophy is the only people that the American tax dollar all the benefit are American people. That's it. Now, I honestly don't understand where people get the idea of if you say, you know what, I'm against immigration. I'm against illegal immigration. I'm against this influx of these migrants. Now, some people would say, okay, well, if someone says something like that, okay, they must have hate in their heart. They must be a racist. I don't understand where people get that from. Because yesterday, I was just doing some thinking. And I was just like, you know what? As I understand from people that have left the United States and moved over to the Philippines, if you move to the Philippines, you are not allowed to own property. If you go to the Philippines and you're not a citizen of the Philippines, and if you purchase a property, that property cannot go in your name. It has to go into the name of your, it has to go into the name of your significant other or the name of someone who you're with that is a Philippine citizen. Now, I have yet to hear anybody come forth online, at least, and say that something like that is racist or something like that is wrong. Most people that go to the Philippines, and that's the example I'm going to use for today's video, but most people that go to the Philippines, they just accept it for what it is. They just accept it for what it is. It's like, this ain't my country. I'm just a guest here, so it is what it is. So my question is, why, as American people, do we have to be full of hate? Do we have to be a racist? Because most of us who are American citizens, who are tax-paying American citizens, believe that the American tax dollars should only benefit American citizens and nobody else. And all this migrant stuff that's going on is unacceptable. Why we gotta be full of hate? Why we gotta be labeled a racist? I don't get it. Maybe somebody in the comments can talk to me about it. Not that I'm gonna agree with what you guys say, but you're free to express your opinions in the comment section. I just thought I would throw that out there. It is on top of my mind, and before I forgot, I just wanted to put it out there real quick. So, anyways, all this migrant stuff going on, the borders being wide open, really is nothing but a money grab for, I would say, both your politicians and for many of these businesses and corporations. Because, like I said earlier, they do not want to pay the proper wages to keep American workers. Like, if you guys recall, maybe just a few years ago, a lot of people were quitting their jobs. A lot of people were doing quiet quitting because a lot of these companies weren't paying right. Well, a lot of companies stepped their pay up and they started paying better. And notice, shortly after they started doing that, guess what? These influx of migrants come into the country. I mean, I find that, I don't know about any of you guys out here, but I find that kind of ironic. Now, I'm not, and like I said, I mean, at this point, when I look at what's going on here in Alabama, Alabama, you can't get any more red than Alabama. And when you look at the fact that even here in Alabama we have a migrant situation on our hands, it's safe to say that your politicians are clearly capable of selling out the American people. It's safe to say that on a local and state level, your politicians are capable of selling out its residents and its citizens. It's sad, but clearly it's happening before our very eyes. So I would say at this point, rather rather you vote Democrat or you vote Republican, whoever you vote for, they're going to tell you what you want to hear so they get into the office. But then once they get into the office, who knows what they're going to decide to do? You know, I'm going to use I'm going to use Walmart for an example. If Walmart decides to come to whoever politician that you elected and they tell that politician, hey, I'm going to give you X amount of money if you allow migrants to come into your city and work for us, if that amount is high enough, guess what that politician is going to do? They're going to shake they're going to shake hands with Walmart and they're going to have it and they're going to seal a deal. And then when all these migrants come into your city and they take your jobs, and now they have these now they have these city council meetings to where they act like they really care about what you guys say, when really they don't care about what you guys say. They're just going through the notion of caring about what you guys say when really they don't. And again, this ain't factual. This is just my opinion. So, like, kind of like what many of us saw it, and can't pronounce that name, and I want to say Silicon, Alabama. Kind of like what you saw there. And regardless to how some of the people might be, regardless to the mentality of some of the residents there, I'm not getting into that on this video. But regardless to that, I personally don't think that the city officials there gave two rips about what those residents had to say. I don't think they gave two rips. I think what happened was they acted like they cared about those people, but they really don't. I mean, basically, in my humble opinion, they shook hands with the devil. And when it came to that meeting, they were just putting on a show. They were just putting on an act. And most likely the same thing has happened in Enterprise, Alabama. And the same thing has happened in Springfield, Ohio. And the same things are happening all over the country, regardless of whether you live in a red state or a blue state, regardless of whether you live in a major metro area or you live somewhere in a smaller city that's a little further out. It's happening all over the country. And that's why I call this a sad day, or a sad time rather, in American history. Because now it's like, okay, well, who do you vote for? How do you vote? How do you vet your leaders out to see who's gonna truly have the better interests of your community? Who's gonna have the better interests of the American people? How do you vet them out? It's a question that unfortunately I don't have the answers for. Maybe some of you other people watching me might have the answers. I don't got the answers. I just don't. It's frustrating to say the least. And all that money that they're giving all these migrants, that money could be given to American people. But as I've explained, as I just explained, the reason why all this migrant and illegal immigrant stuff is going on is because many of these cities done shook hands with the devil. And I'm gonna just leave it just like I'm gonna say it just like that. And even on a federal level, same thing. They shook hands with the devil. Some people will say that they're the devil themselves, but at the very least, they shook hands with the devil. Because, and I say that because as an American citizen, as a tax-paying American citizen, I don't, you know, I don't see how a group of people who have been elected to have the better interests of the American people, I don't see how anybody can fix themselves to do what they're doing to the American people. I mean, these companies are making record-breaking profits. They can afford to pay American wages. Well, I mean, they can afford to pay the appropriate wages to American workers, but they don't want to, and they're making it to where they don't have to. So in the future, if you go to your job and you sit down and you ask your boss, "Hey man, can I get a pay raise for doing all this extra work?" Your boss will now be in the position to tell you, "Hey, you know what? If you don't like the raises, don't hit your ass on the way out." And as soon as you walk out that door, they'll have one of these migrants in your place to where they can pay them a fraction of what they were paying you. I think moving forward, our concern as American people shouldn't so much be on what Haitians are doing or not doing to people's animals. It should be on the fact that we have all these migrants in this country, period. I don't care if they're Haitian, I don't care if they're Hispanic, I don't care where they come from, I don't care what nationality they are. If they're not American citizens, they do not deserve American benefits, period, point blank, and that's how I feel. Now, some people might call me insensitive or not having enough empathy, but my attitude is if we, if we don't have enough resources to take care of our own people, like look at all the homeless people that are here in this country. Look at all the military vets that are currently homeless. Look at all the senior citizens that are homeless. I mean, there's a growing number of senior citizens throughout the years that are becoming homeless. And when I say homeless, I'm talking people that are living in their cars, people that have to live in their RVs. That's what I consider people that, worse yet, they have to live in some tent community or they got to live in some homeless shelter. So when I say, so for the sake of this video, when I say homeless, that's what I mean. I'm not talking about people living in their vehicles because they choose to, because they want to be adventurous. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the ones who live in their vehicles because they have to. They live in a tent because they have to. And when you look at the amount of homeless people we have in this country, that tells me that either A, as a country, we don't have the resources to take care of our own people. Or B, if we do, we just choose not to utilize them to take care of our own people. So if we're not able to take care of our own people, then how the hell are we going to take care of other people coming from other countries? If we choose to not take care of our own people that are homeless, then why are we choosing to take the American tax dollar and take care of a bunch of people that aren't even of this country in the first place? Now I get among the homeless people. Okay, people got mental issues. People got issues with illegal substances. People just choose not to work. I got it. But guess what? Not every migrant that's coming to this country are coming to this country to work. You got a bunch of migrants coming to this country that are committing crimes. They're beating up on law enforcement officials. They're committing, they're violating our women. They're robbing and stealing from people. They're forming gangs. So now all the migrants that are coming to this country are coming to this country to work. And just for the record, the majority of the migrants that are doing these kind of things that I just described are the non-white Hispanic ones. And there's actual proof and evidence of that. Now, as far as the Haitians doing bad things to man's best friend, as far as I'm concerned, there is no evidence to corroborate that. So, that's just where I'm going to leave that. So now all migrants are coming to this country to work. So my attitude is, if we have money to help these migrants out, then we have money to help out fellow American citizens who may have fell on hard times for whatever reason, to get them back maybe working. Or maybe we can train some of them to learn new skills and be a productive part of society again. That's just my opinion. And like I said, I stand by my beliefs. If you're not a tax-paying American citizen, then the American tax dollar should not be benefiting you in any way, shape, or form. Now, let's not get it twisted. Regardless of whether you're in this country legally or illegally, I do believe that everybody deserves to be treated like a human being. I do believe that everybody deserves to be safe. I don't believe in spreading lies about people. I don't believe in that of those type of shenanigans. However, the American tax dollar should only benefit American people. Companies that want to continue to enjoy or take advantage of the American economy and be considered a American business should only hire workers who are American citizens. Now, when I say American citizens, I don't care about your race. I don't care where you come from. Like if you come from Central and South America, or you come from somewhere in Africa, and you came here to the United States the right way, and you done whatever it is you have to do to become an American citizen, and you're paying taxes into the and you're paying taxes into this country, you're an American citizen. So therefore, the American tax dollar ought to be benefiting you, not people that are not of this country. So moving forward, as American people, we need to get back on track. Now, like I told you guys before, I'll tell you guys again. I got this amount of faith in politics. This much. That's it. I don't have a lot of faith in politics. I can't really recall a time in my life to where I can say I had a bunch of faith in politics. I try to be involved in politics somewhat. But at the same time, I don't really have a lot of faith in politics. I'm not even gonna lie. Like when I look at what's going on in states like here in Alabama, it just goes to prove that rather Democrat or Republican, hey, you know, the people still will get sold out. The needs of the American people will still get shoved under the bus, just so these politicians can line their pockets, just so these businesses can line their pockets. And I don't really have much more to say. I know this video was a long run, but there's a lot of stuff on my mind which I wanted to get off my chest. And this video was an excellent way for me to do it. So for those of you that stuck it out and you watched the entire video, I appreciate you. But moving forward, we gotta do better as American people. We need to not stay. We need to not focus so much on what's going on with Diddy, because fuck him. Who cares? Hopefully he rots in prison if the allegations against him are true. And as far as all this speculation about what Haitians are doing to whoever and whatever, you know, my attitude is if they're not messing with me or if they're not messing with you, who cares? And whatever speculation that's out there against the Haitians, unless there's hard evidence to corroborate that, who cares? Nine times out of 10, it's going to be a rumor anyway. So that's all I got to say on this one. I've talked long enough. Stay blessed. I'll catch you guys on the next one.